Here we go, and it is time for another sprint zone. This one's for 4/23/2024, and we're looking at the view through Scott's camera. A healthy crew today, and everybody is looking forward to the melee as usual. Lots of people missing. Those are folks in Majorca in their special Majorca training camp. And they've been posting on the Facebook, and it's been pretty cool seeing all the fun rides they've been doing. We'll have to hear about what they're doing. Maybe they'll have some video to post one of these days. But back to the action. And I'd like to thank John Kraft, Scott Pollia, and Wolfgang for their telemetry, and of course Scott for his video. And you're probably wondering, like, why I don't have my telemetry up there, or at least my power. Well, it's because my power meter is kind of wonky, and, well, it was just useless data. But the party has started, and let's rock and roll. I'm heading towards the front as Ben has gone off the front, and the usual lethargy is within the peloton. People sitting back, not concerned, but it's Ben Nelson, and he's up the road. I mean, really, people? You really can't let that go, because either you got short memories or the rabbit is just too fast and you're going to let that go. So I had to wander up there and bring him back. A lazy follow. We've got Scott looking good back there, and you can see with his camera up in the upper right hand that I am right on Ben. And Ben was kind. He looked back, to make sure people were there. I think it's much more fun to ride people off the wheel than to just solo it. You've been there, done that. Let's play. Power looking good there, and you can see by the different positions in the peloton what kind of wattage is being thrown out there. And look at JC's power, his 32nd above, and his lower power, much lower than what Wolfgang and Scott are putting out there. Look at John C, 195 compared to Scott's 238 and Wolfgang's 271. So if there was any doubt that sitting into the pack saves you energy, well, let these numbers show the truth. And you can see there he is, JC, right behind Scott. So big difference just being a couple wheels back. So I go to the front. I'm not pushing a tremendous amount of wattage. I don't have any data to prove that, but trust me. And Ben trying to wave people through, but there's like lethargy. And one of the few times I'm surprised that Steve does not come through. I can see some of the frustration on Mr. Nelson. It's like, this is time to learn. This isn't time to win. And as always, JC is willing to come and work. And he goes to the front. No one follows. I'm not getting this. No one follows. I mean, when you got JC and then you got Ben up there, you want to be closer than that. But we've got a good view here. I'm on second wheel, looking back, and look at Ben. He's comfortable, got those really nice mirrored shades there, looking extremely relaxed, and you have the rest of the peloton just following suit. Looks like you got a few people out in the wind, but it's kind of a double pace line, echelon type thing, and it's good. Ben, extremely competent and extremely confident, taking a sip of the bottle, no wavering there. And you can see the skilled rider. There are many people that when they go to grab the bottle, they look unsettled. But this is the mark of the seasoned rider. Confident, competent, and he knows what he's doing. Ramming and thumping. Everybody's going here. And looking at some of the power there. 30-second power by everybody but Scott in the 260s. And now Scott's power is much lower. Probably an indication as to where he is in the pack. And indeed, he's behind Steve. And you can see the huge difference in the wattage. And maybe people will pay attention. It's like, yeah, if you're sitting in and you see people like, yeah, I sat in, I did really well. You didn't actually push that hard, And if you want to work out, you want to be up near the front. And this is why I'm up near the front. So unfortunately, what we've got here is a stoppage. There is road construction, and everybody gets a break. People's heart rate's coming down, and let's take a look. We see JC's at 145, and we've got Wolfgang and Scott's respectively 135, 120, and let's see how quickly they come down. Lots of waiting here, And I don't know if I really want to like wait here too long. Let's just move the video ahead a little bit and see if we can get to the party. Yeah, let's see. Coming ahead here. And I should mention the video that Scott has up in the upper right, there was some issue with his rendering. So it went back to the beginning. So ignore that for a while. It comes good again, but just ignore that, and it wasn't worth the re-render. Anyway, there we go. People attacking, and it looks like JC is going to get some of the draft. Ben's going to join him, and I'm thinking about coming up here, but I think better of it. 2 reasons. My station. I'm not exactly certain if this is the right thing to do to draft a car. I don't think it's that safe. You don't know who those people are, and it would just take a tap of the brakes. So this should be a cautionary that it is a questionable thing that I won't take the risk to do that. In any case, we've got Steve at the front now trying to reel back those 2 recalcitrants that are up the road. And of course that's dangerous and honestly unnecessary from those 2. I am certain that if they wanted to, either on their own or together, they could easily defeat the peloton. With that being said, back to the action. There I am in the upper right from the old piece of video. Just ignore that, but I like looking at myself, so it's kind of cool. I get to see myself again because I'm not really seeing that much in the rest of the video. So Steve is starting to pull these guys back as traffic kind of slowed here. And we are almost upon them, but let's take a look at the numbers that these guys throw down to keep away from us. John C. 380. 390, 400, 450, 480, 495, 500. And this is why we were unable to bring them back when they were that close. I take up the mantle, and now it looks like we're getting a little bit of a rotation going. This is kind of good. We're working hard here in life, and they are just dangling up here. And we are so close, and working together, we could probably bring them back with a little bit of effort here, as long as everybody works and they understand the goal. Unfortunately, they really don't. So anyway, Wolfgang takes a flyer, and he's going to make the bridge. And let's look at Wolfgang's power. 2, 3, 4, 600 for a second there. 30-second power, 380, and he is able to, I believe, make that bridge. And he does, and that's impressive, with an average of 400 watts for at least 30 seconds, probably more, and those 3 are probably checking out here, and we're keeping them in check. Now, looking in the lower half, we got Steve coming through in the gray, and he made kind of a weak pull to get around, and we lost a lot of momentum there. Steve hanging back a little bit. At this point, we lost a lot of impetus. But whatever. And now Steve takes up the mantle, and it looks like, the 3 Steves up at the front. And now my turn to come through, rotating through. And this is what we want to see. We want to see a smooth rotation here as we try to bring those guys back. But that is going to be challenging, but given who's up there. Scott coming through, looking strong there, looking at his 30-second power, only 216. So yeah, not super hard here. Like we're not committed at this point. But they are dangling out there. But it's good teamwork, very good teamwork. Steve coming up on this little riser, and Steve makes a good push. As you can see, everybody working hard here. Scott, 30-second power now, close to 300, and we are working hard. It looks like Marcelo makes the bridge, and it is a Group O Compacto. Nice chase group back here. Everybody's in a line, everybody working well, slight little echelon, and you can see a little bit of coasting down there by the people up front. Interesting to see what's going on by the numbers here. Steve doing an excellent job up front. I'm on his wheel, and we are well connected here. Very unfortunate that the rendering of the video in the upper right is not correct. Please ignore that. It will come good later on. And here we go. It is good now. And so now everybody's together. And here's when Steve makes this little surge or an attack. And I'm just like, what the what? And this is when Scott was like, or Curtis, sorry, was like, let's work together. But I don't know if he was trying to help us or go on a flyer or whatever, but that little surge not being smooth is not helpful. So Scott makes the bridge up to Steve. Steve makes the bridge up to Scott. Curtis is there. Marcelo still not coming through, still recovering from that bridge. And now Steve pulls off to the left here. And I'm like, what the what? Again, the echelon is right to left. So if you're going to pull off or try to help people, but he's out there on his own full of hubris, I guess, looking to bridge. Maybe the group wasn't strong enough for him. Maybe he didn't want to work together. Maybe he didn't like the people in the group. Maybe he thought it was sketchy or whatever. But anyway, easily reel him back in, and his effort is for naught as he tacks on to the back. Everybody's working hard now. Scott's 32nd, 250 watts. Pretty good. Curtis looking strong there. Marcelo in tow looking good. Steve up at the front. And the guys up front aren't that far up the road. And this is where I get unhitched because I can't make that kind of power. And look at that. Scott's instantaneous power is up over 600. 30-second power close to 400. Marcelo clearly had enough room to bridge, so he was kind of sandbagging, despite the fact he said he needed to recover and wasn't pulling through. Well, you can't make that kind of a surge if you weren't recovered. Anyway, there we go. The gentlemen who didn't want to work together out there, and I'll say in the middle of the road. Now, people, there's no draft out there, and this is a perfect example of what I was saying before the ride. People have become really, really comfortable riding in the middle of the road when you don't have to be. Why are we riding in the middle of the road? We do not have to be riding in the middle of the road. I don't care if you got radar or you got like mirrors or whatever. It's not a good habit. Finally comes over there. But yeah, I think there are lessons to be learned here. Nice bridge by Wolfgang. It looks like, I don't know who won that one. Was it JC or Ben, one of the supers up there after that questionable drafting move? Let's see who's here first. Looks like that might have been Ben there on that one as we make the turnaround. A good time was indeed had by all. So it's a rainy weekend. And I got nothing else better to do, so I made an extended video here where we're gonna talk about the next sprint zone if people care to hang around. If not, that's good. So we do the regroup here. People turn around. This is supposed to be the recovery effort, and once again, there's no reason to be in the middle of the road. I don't get this. I don't know why people want to ride in the middle of the road. At this point during the recovery, it should be like a team ride. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. And maybe I'll say something disparaging here, and maybe it'll cause less people to show up because I'm happy with the small amount of people. You know, some of the behavior is poison from some of the other groups. And look at this. Going way over the yellow line. I don't know if you're throwing a snot rocket or whatever. There's no reason to cross the yellow line to do that. You can drop back. I mean, look at this, people. This is embarrassing. And I don't know. I don't know who's out there in the middle of the road, up next to the yellow line, but there's no need for that during the recovery period. Pick a buddy, get next to them, talk about the weather. But this is just sloppy riding. And maybe I'll digress even further. Like when I rode for a small team, we did team rides. It was always 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Either a lot of these people have never been on teams. And look at this right here. Like this car has to go way out. Somebody went like on the yellow line, like during the recovery period. I don't know how often I got to say this. And I'm certainly tired of saying it. And people are probably tired of hearing me say it. But look at this. There's no reason to be that close to the yellow line, like 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. In fact, I can't even stand to look at this anymore. Yeah, so we're gonna have to just like fast forward this a little bit because it's just bad. Okay, so finally, we do kind of get to the 2 by 2, but it took a long time. I don't like seeing it as a cyclist. etc. But here we go. We finally got organized here, either because I was yelling at people or people got. But this is the way it should look immediately. Immediately after we're done. This is much better. I'm happy about this. This looks good. My other pet peeve, people riding too close. This isn't too bad back here, but if you are doing pedal, pedal, coast, pedal, pedal, coast, pedal, pedal, coast, you are too close. You don't need that much draft. If you're racing, different story. But you're out here for somewhat of a workout. And so being that close where you're just pedaling and coasting, it's just not smooth. You could be back a little bit. You can relax a little bit. You save all the stress from being on your brakes. Let's talk about sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous systems here. Sympathetic nervous system is just like amped up because you're so close. And in long events, you don't want that. You want to be de-stressed. You want to be relaxed. Yeah, indeed. You want to be relaxed. But anyway, this looks good. I'm happy about it. And let's just fast forward a little bit here because nobody really wants to watch all of this. We're making the signal for the left-hand turn up here. And here we control the road, control the lane. It's a good thing. We don't really want cars passing on this blind grade here where it drops down because cars are impatient and they think that their 30 seconds they got held up is really important. Are they doctors? Are they going to the emergency room? No, they're probably not. They can wait. And so we make the turn and we're on the sprint zone too. And of course I will reiterate the rules of engagement, which state that the melee may not begin until everyone is safely around the corner. I mean, occasionally people like just take off, up the road. But that last section is more or less recovery. So we can do it again. I mean, if you take a flyer and you're off by your phone, okay, that's really nice. But you really weren't part of the melee. But I digress. Anyway, we're looking pretty good here. Pretty much everyone is around the corner. Not certain who's back there chasing. Maybe they didn't turn around soon enough. But, it's life. So now, life is good. And there is a single line here, and then Wolfgang slots in, and I'm feeling okay at this point, so I don't think I really need the shelter. I'm looking to get some work here, so I'm going to move up a little bit. Lots of construction here, these big little square plates where people were doing gas lines or some sort of maintenance, adding, internet or whatever, but it was kind of annoying. Slotting up here, and I'm not certain who's in front of me. I think I'm like a new guy. I haven't seen him before. I need to introduce myself. Seems like he's fairly strong. But anyhow, everyone's looking good, and you can see back here, and let's look at some power here. JC, 118 watts. Yeah, he could be pedaling with one leg and still have 50 watts more to spare. I wish my power meter was kind of working. I think at this point it might have come back, but, seeing all those zeros all the time. And I know it wasn't right for the whole ride. It said my average watts was like 90 watts. I sat in a lot, but not that much. But we're going hard here. I'm still out in the wind because I want to be close. I want to be closer to the front. I don't want to be back there and to get gapped off. And I want to work out. Looking at everybody's clothing, the gentleman in front of me, nice tight jersey, looking good. Looking at Wolfgang, look at that Peloton. He needs to get rid of that for two reasons. Well, the Peloton, it does not exist. And they dishonored themselves by going bankrupt and holding people's bikes hostage for a while. So get yourself some new kit. It's 2025 almost. They're gone. The new FCCT kit looks good on Elisa there. I'm still out in the wind, and let's see what the speeds are. 28 miles an hour, hotting up here. Looks like today we will not run into the legendary TTH riders, although they're probably like a mile and a half behind us, and I was able to see them when I got to the top while we were waiting. But anyway, we're hotting up here. People going hard here. 27, and it's a little bit of a grade, so it is not easy. Rider up front pulling off, and we're still going hard. And I'm still sitting out in the wind here because I want to be close. Yeah, getting a good workout here, coming through here. Looking at JC's power, 190, and I believe he's on my wheel. So now it is not easy. Everybody's power, 32nd, around 200 or so. Scott's like at 160. Yeah, Scott's in a great position here. He's saving power over everybody else. So for people think that sometimes that they're earning it or whatever, it's like, yeah, they are. Positioning's important. If you want to race, you want to save watts. And Scott's doing something really important. He's saving watts. And here goes the sprint. Looks like it's being led out by Mr. Nelson, who's close to the front. And there goes JC. Slight yellow line violation. Wolfgang, huge yellow line violation. Looks like Danny. Like what? Huge yellow line violation. Red flags, red flags, red flags. WTF, guys. If this was a USCF race and there was a yellow line rule, DQ'd, DQ'd, DQ'd. And if you want to contend, you got to get up by the front. You got to bleed the watts off to be in position there. Need I say any more? The rules of engagement exist for your safety. They are not flexible, nor am I. One of my favorite quotes from Top Gun. I think it's applicable here. Here I am, still pushing a little bit of watts, going towards the front here, in tow, a lot of people. And truth be told, could I have gone out in yellow line and passed some people? Yeah, probably. You know, did I have some more strength? Yeah, I had plenty of strength. I was out there in the wind. It was good. But what was the problem here? You're blocked. We don't violate the rules of engagement. So I don't know who won that one. But it was fun. I just want to keep reiterating that the safety, because they'll tend to degrade. If somebody isn't cracking the whip, you know, some of the behaviors that are tolerated by some of these other groups, and I'm not going to name them, will not be tolerated here. Safety, everyone, safety. So if you made it this far in the video, hit that thumbs up button. No, just kidding. I don't care if you like it or not. I'm not monetizing any of this stuff. Hit that like button. I think that's always interesting when people say that. Anyway, here we wait. People still out in the middle of the road when we're pulling over. The proclivity, the habit of just riding in the middle of the road when we don't need to be. And I want to thank all those riders that actually did do the right thing. Did actually do the right thing and stop on the right side of the white line. That being said, some people push this to the hilt. Like, we don't need to be right on the white line when there is traffic. And I don't think I rendered this video all the way, but there's this white truck coming up on us right here. And you can't really see it in the video, but the passenger side guy's just going crazy, telling us to get over. And he's just going ape shit up there, just saying, waving. And you can see how close we are to the white line, some of us. We don't need to be. Are we legal? Yes. Are we courteous? No. And there's the, not enough resolution here. Maybe I need to go buy that 8K, camera to capture that. But anyway, I think I said what I need to say. Not saying I'm going to continue doing both sprint zones, but rainy day today, so whatever. Anyway, peace out, everyone, and a good time was had by all.